Hi guys and welcome to the Sunderland vs Bristol Rovers match review. Now of course we did win by 2 goals to 1. So we went into the game and there was a big reshuffle across the back due to injuries. Flanagan was out, James was out, replaced by Louvens and Oviedo. Now my biggest concern before the game was how much that might harm our defence and how much it might, disrupt the defence, considering we've had a relatively similar back line in recent games. We'll normally have the partnership of Flanagan and Baldwin in the middle. James has been on the left, who I think has been arguably one of our best players so far, particularly in recent weeks. I think he's been absolutely excellent. So yeah, that was my main concern going into the game, but this was one we had to win. We had to win this one to keep pressure on Portsmouth, who have actually dropped points today as well, which is absolutely massive, but we'll get onto that in a bit. So we begin the game, the opening 10 minutes, and we did look really good, or at least half decent. We started relatively brightly. Bristol Rovers didn't really come out the blocks at all. A few chances. McGeady a couple of times, had acres of space on the left-hand side. A couple of shots here and there. Oviedo dragging one straight at the keeper. Maja had a header which went straight over the bar. It was a free header for him. But Bristol Rovers didn't really test us, or hadn't tested us yet. The first time they come forward, the first real time our new sort of defence had been tested was they come down the right, whipped a ball in, and lo and behold, we were absolutely shit at dealing with it. It was whipped in, completely free header for Bristol Rovers. No one's marking, defence are all over the place, and luckily for us, they had it just wide of the post. But again, they come down that right side. I can't remember whether it was either Baldwin or Louvens who actually missed the cross, but Matthews tried to get it away, but he's hit it straight into the path of the Bristol player, and he's drilled it into the goal. It's 1-0, 1-0 behind, and we've got it all to do. It's straight uphill. It's typical Sunderland. And yeah, that was very, very frustrating. But we did continue. We weren't playing particularly badly, considering we were 1-0 down for the majority of the first half. I don't think we were awful. I just think we're obviously a bit shaken defensively because of the changes. And in the final third, we just didn't look sharp whatsoever. I don't know whether that was just fatigue or anything like that. We are using very similar players over and over again because we don't have the massive sort of strength in depth. But we just didn't look sharp at all. Maja, I've been his biggest critic at times, maybe undeservedly so. But it's more so because I just want him to do so well, because I know how good he is. He's our best finisher by a mile, and probably the best finisher in the league. One of the best finishers I've seen play for Sunderland in quite some time. But it's just his off-the-ball work that, you're just screaming at him to do that a little bit more to make him an all-round player. He is only 19, so of course you need to give him a little bit of leeway. But there's just sort of times off the ball where there's positions and gaps, and you just think, Buster, got into it, make your run, and he is guilty a little bit of just kind of walking and watching the game and ball watching, and he almost has to wait for the chance to fall to him. But he did, of course, prove me wrong later in the game anyway. But yeah, we imagine there are a few times where he's not going to win balls in the air. He doesn't do that. He's not the biggest physical presence. I've said that a few times this season. But there were a couple of times, one in particular, that did kind of epitomise my argument for or against Maja. The ball was hoofed up by us. Maja, it was going straight for him. It was completely free, just sort of on the halfway line, to either bring it down or head it. And he just sort of flinched and was like, oh shit, someone's going to hit me from behind. And they didn't. And he just completely left the ball. I'm just thinking, come on, mate, you're not that much of a pussy. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, like I say, he proved me wrong later in the game. But yeah, we continued to go. We had chances. Cats hit the bar. We had other chances. We were getting chances left, right, and centre, to be fair. But eventually, McGeady did have an effort coming from the left-hand side onto his right. Keeper made a half-decent save, but he parried it straight into the path of Matthews, who nodded it into what was basically an empty net. That was just before half-time, and I did say up until that point, I thought, as soon as we get that first goal, or get back on level terms, I thought we were going to absolutely steamroll them, because they didn't really show much whatsoever. They had a bit of fight and passion about them. They were definitely very much driven at the back. I know that they just recently sacked their manager, so, a lot of teams do react in different ways when a manager gets sacked or a new manager comes in, etc. And they seemed very positive in terms of the amount of effort that they put in, just attacking wise. They didn't really seem too dangerous. But the second half was underway, and they did have a chance of their own. They could come forward. We made a last-ditch block after they did break. We went straight up the other end. McGeady with a brilliant pass into Maja, who I've just basically not slated, but it is a bit of constructive criticism. Plays it into Maja, dummies his man, leaves him on his arse, flat on his arse, and then puts it into the bottom corner. Excellent finish, and like I say, he's a truly excellent finisher. He really is. He's a joy to watch. Just off the ball, he pisses me off sometimes, and he can do me head in a little bit. But yeah, brilliant finish from Maja. And we just went on from there. We kicked on from there, and the character shown to get back from a goal down again for how many times this season we've had to do that. Be it come back from behind to win or just to get ourselves a point. It just shows that the turnaround in this club, because last season or the season before, if we went 1-0 down, the game's over. We're not winning it. Whereas now, regardless of when we concede, if we concede, we're always going to battle up until we get something from the game, and that has saved us several times already this season, because I don't think we've been playing particularly well for several weeks. We haven't been outstanding, but we are scraping results, be it a draw or a win, which is absolutely excellent. So yeah, we continued, and we did get chance after chance after chance. McGeady lashed one from miles out, hit the bar, come back to Maguire, he hit the post. Watmore come on, which was absolutely brilliant to see. I tell you what, I absolutely love Watmore, our little roadrunner. I love him as a player. I love his attitude. I love his personality, his character. It's absolutely great, and it was absolutely excellent to see him back on the pitch. I know he made an impact as well with a few nice little runs here and there. But 5 minutes were added on towards the end of the game in injury time, and Bristol Rovers did get a sort of rare break after a really poor pass from Matthews, or just a little bit lazy on the ball, lost out. They broke through one-on-one with Reuter, who, completely forgot to mention. I always do this, I missed something. McLaughlin did come off with, I think it was about 10-15 minutes to go. Reuter come on. I don't know what exactly it was. 1 minute he was holding his thigh, it was back. It looks like he strained something, or he's pulled something, McLaughlin, and he was dealing with it for a good chunk of that second half, but he did eventually come off and give in, and Reuter did have to come on. So look, hopefully it isn't too bad, because McLaughlin's been our best signing and our best player for us this season. He's kept us in 1 million games. Well, it's not 1 million games, is it? What the fuck am I talking about? We've only played 20, man. But yeah, he's kept us in a lot of games, McLaughlin. So hopefully his injury is nothing too serious. But yeah, as I was saying, Matthews lost the ball. Bristol, he broke us down, and one-on-one with Reuter, the players dinked it over Reuter, and luckily for us, it's just bounced out away off the bar. Very luckily for us, very sloppy defending in the final few moments of the game, but we do manage to see it out, and it's a very nice 3 points, a massive, massive 3 points. As I was saying earlier, Portsmouth, they did draw, so they've dropped points. So now we've got a massive, massive game next week against Pompey. Absolutely huge. If we win that game, we're only, I think, let me just check before I say something completely wrong. Yeah, so if we beat Portsmouth next week, we'll only be 2 points away from them and still have 2 games in hand over them. Or I don't know whether they play next week, but yeah, we'll still have a game in hand at least over them. So again, it's absolutely massive. We're clawing our way back to the top of the league, which is absolutely amazing. Again, to sum up, the character for me today was excellent. The performance, again, it weren't fantastic, but I don't even think when we were a goal down, I don't think we were that bad. Hopefully we get some defenders back in. And I'm really, really looking forward to January as well, because like I say, at the minute we're scraping wins, or at least we're getting results with, not the best of performances. But I think if we just bring in a couple, maybe 2 or 3 more players, just to add a bit of quality, add a little bit of competition throughout the squad, I can see us really, really pushing this year. Before the season started, I did predict a 5th place finish, because obviously we're completely in the unknown. We have a completely new squad, which I didn't expect to play this well or gel as well as they have done. But they've completely proved me wrong, so obviously the higher we push up the league, the better. But that'll be it, guys. Hope you have enjoyed. If you have, please smash that like button for me. It'd be massively, massively appreciated. And subscribe to the channel if you're not already, to become a fully fledged member of the Sarny Army. But for now, you take care and stay jammy.